Caribbean side of Costa Rica is something else, but now we're in the most biodiverse section of all of Central America. We are in the South Pacific. Welcome to Costa Rica. So it's pretty early in the morning. We got up early in the cloud forest. Something interesting about where we are is it's literally in a cloud. Everything is not moist, but completely wet. And what you're gonna find here is pit vipers. There's jumping pit vipers, there's palm pit vipers. There's a bunch of snakes that I'd really like to see that you only really find in this part of Costa Rica. So we're gonna go look for one. The guys went out after us last night while we were still sleeping, and they said they found one. So we're gonna look in that area, see if we can find a palm pit viper, maybe some jumping pit vipers too. Let's go take a look. 5 minutes ago, I said we were gonna find a palm pit viper, and we found a palm pit viper. This is the craziest stroke of luck. We've been looking. Last night we looked for hours, didn't find anything, and now we have a palm pit viper here. This is a very interesting snake. Its face is just so pit viper-esque, but also it's arboreal, it's green, it blends in, but where it is right now is just on the outskirt of a trail. There's a river right there, which I'm sure you can hear. I imagine this guy was up all night eating frogs or maybe even a bird. They're opportunistic. They're gonna find whatever it is that might be food, and they're gonna make it that way. This is one of the coolest snakes I have ever seen in my entire life, and really a great size specimen for what it is. Let's just take an opportunity. It's got its eye right through that hole right there. Super cool. What a beauty. Normally I'll ruin a reptile video with an amphibian. Today I'm gonna ruin an amphibian reptile video with a plant. But it's no ordinary plant, it's the sensitive plant. More or less, I could explain it to you, or I could just show you what I mean. When you give it a little tickle, it shows a little cowardice there and kind of closes up. So if you touch it, it'll close up. At night it closes up too, and then in a couple minutes it'll bloom back open. Very interesting. Sensitive plant. This right here, believe it or not, is a full-size boa. This is a Bromeliad Boa. You're gonna find these in parts of Costa Rica, especially on the southern Pacific side, which is where we're at right now, during the day. We're gonna go for a night hike later, but during the day, it's really cool to see species that maybe you would never see. This is probably one of the more rare boas. There's people in Costa Rica who have lived here and herped here their entire lives who have never seen one, and we're very lucky to be in a property where one is right here in a Bromeliad. Believe it or not, this is a full-grown specimen at about 80 centimeters. That's how big they're gonna get, not much bigger than that. Think of a spotted python shrunken down, but in boa form. The sad part is, no captivity here. These are not in the pet hobby. Costa Rica does not export animals, at least not this animal anyway. So to have these in the pet hobby would be something else. Probably the best fur snake you could have, as they are pretty robust. But this one here, we're just gonna leave in this Bromeliad. This is the one. This is an eyelash viper. Eyelash vipers are one of the coolest species, one of the most colorful species, and if you know me, you know I like color. Putting this on this heliconia, the contrast is amazing. You don't see this type of yellow in nature, besides maybe some birds, maybe some insects, maybe a mosquito in my ear right now. Besides that, you don't really see that. This is an animal that if it bites you, it's gonna ruin your day, it's gonna ruin your week, and maybe your month, maybe your whole life, because it has a hemotoxin in its venom. And what that means is if it bites you, it starts to destroy the tissue. It destroys the cells. So we've all seen those disgusting pictures of someone's hand turning black, pussy, and maybe less fingers than before. The thing is, most bites happen on the hands. So what does that tell you? It tells you that people are careless. Don't touch these things. Respect them at a safe distance. Like right now, I'm gonna take a step back because it's kind of moving towards me. It happens on the hands, it happens on the feet. Either way, respect these animals. Although they are arboreal, you still gotta watch where you're walking. And if I saw one of these in the wild, like I have right now, I might lose my mind, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. So now it's nighttime here on the Pacific. We had some luck during the day, which was really cool. At night is when things usually come out, or the things that we want to see anyway. We can find a lot of venomous species. Maybe we'll find Fertilances, Eyelash Vipers during the night, which would be really cool as well. Different frog species. We've already found a helmeted iguana, and I could not handle the shirt anymore. I'm getting eaten alive, but it's worth it because it's 4,000 degrees up in here. Imagine the surface of the sun underwater. That's where we're at right now. Let's go find some snakes. So what we have here is another Fertilance, a lot bigger than the one we saw the first time. We saw on the Caribbean side, this one we saw on the Pacific side. Something interesting to note, I hear all the time, oh, this snake chases you, this snake chases you. There's a bunch of us around. This snake kind of went directly at one of us. Just because a snake, a venomous snake, is going in your direction does not mean that it's chasing you. Just don't run, and it's no longer chasing you. It'll whiz right by you. That is the idea. I hear this all the time about copperheads and cottonmouths and all these type of things where it's chasing me. Stand still and it'll zoom right past you, and we saw that with this Fertilance right here. It had nowhere to go. The quickest path to escape was right by us, and we just stood there and let it go. So that is the moral of the story with this Fertilance. But other than that, let's just look how freaking cool this thing is. 90% of the bites in Costa Rica are from this snake, and we finally found one of an appropriate size for an adult. Fertilances are absolutely amazing. What we have here is a cool cat-eye snake. So a very interesting type of cat-eye snake. It's different than the one that we found on the Caribbean side, which we found above a place where you'd find tadpoles, frogs, things like that, above a water source. This here, there's no river. I don't hear a river. There's no lake. There's no water source. This animal we found on a leaf just a few feet off the ground. It's just kind of a testament to the diversity of the same sort of genus or type of snake, I should say. And some are going to be a totally different type, totally different area, totally different diet than a similar snake that has the same sort of name. Cat-eye snakes are really cool. They're rear fang venomous, and I'm not going to get bit by this guy. So let's go find something else. So we took about 4 steps into the jungle, literally off the street, 4 steps into the jungle, and Dion had an accident. He had a moth or a bug or something fly directly all the way into his ear canal.
Do you want me to hold the light?
There are bugs everywhere. It rained so hard today. I even have one on my chest right now. This is going to be a heck of an adventure. Dion has gone to get medical attention, so let's hope that he has got nothing going on, nothing wrong, and he can come back and join us. Looking for black-headed bushmasters tonight. Let's go see if we can find one. When someone tells you they caught a fish this big or a frog this big, they're probably lying. But I just put my little girly hand next to this thing to show you when I say this thing is the giantest, most ridiculously sized mountain frog is how I know it, because Mike Tatula told me that 5 seconds ago. This is an interesting looking frog, and when I say it's half the size of my foot, I'm exaggerating because my foot is not half as big as this. It is not that big at all. The Smoky mountain frog is a very dark frog, or at least that's the way it looks. It's also an amphibian and not a reptile. I'm saying generic things because I don't know much about it, but I had to show you how big this freaking frog is. What we have here is an aquatic anole, something very interesting. I saw one time, there it goes right there, one time on the Discovery Channel. Basically why it's called the aquatic anole is it can kind of sort of breathe underwater. It creates this layer of air around its body so that when it's fully submerged, it can actually breathe, so it doesn't die, like most anoles would if you held them underwater. Basically the waterboarding proof anole. Anyway, let's go find a bushmaster. Today's video is brought to you in part by CR Wild. Christian, what is CR Wild and how can people get involved?
Oh man, where can I start? CR Wild is a tourist company in Costa Rica. It's basically we promote amphibians and reptiles conservation through all the tropics, through education, science, and tourism. If you are coming to Costa Rica to have a herping expedition, just let us know. We have tailor-made expeditions, night tours, and herping expeditions.
I want to say thank you again to CR Wild. I've always wanted to come to Central America, and this was definitely the best experience, exceeded my expectations in every single way. Click the link below if you're interested. CR Wild. Christian, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
The last day on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. Last night we had a little bit of a scare with the bug in Dion's head, but we didn't find the Bushmaster. But that's okay, because today I think we're going to see some squirrel monkeys, which are not a reptile, they're a mammal, but I think they're very cool. We can hear them calling basically all night, and we've set up this platform of bananas for them. We've got some visitors already, we've got some birds on the ground, birds on the platform, and we can see the monkeys off in the distance kind of having a look, checking us out, making sure that we're safe to be around. So we're gonna wait it out and hopefully we can see some monkeys from maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 feet away. It's gonna be really cool. Okay, so we didn't find the Bushmaster, but we did find eyelash vipers. We found a bunch of cool toads and frogs. We found so many things in Costa Rica. My dreams really did come true. And it's because of you guys. Because you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, I get opportunities like this. If you like this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It gives me the motivation to maybe go to Belize next year or somewhere else. Let me know, where do you want to see a video in the comment section below? And as always, a special thank you to the Patreon supporters. If it wasn't for you guys, this would be so much more difficult to do things like this. You get discounts on the merch, you got videos like this one super duper early, you know about extra things that we saw that maybe didn't make the video, some super cuts, some things that happen behind the scenes, and for as little as $1 a month, you can be part of the Patreon club too. Because we do videos twice a week, that means that I'll see you on Monday or Thursday. It's one of the days. I'll see you next week.